Okay, all right. You've landed on Island 49. I'm your host, Weston Smith. It is Saturday, August 10th, 3:27 p.m. here on the East Coast. A little over 3.5 hours away from the San Francisco 49ers kicking off week one of the preseason against the Tennessee Titans. I haven't come live solo in quite some time. Been joining some other people's shows, Ryan, obviously Steph on Monday. So excited to begin to kick off the new season format, which is going to be focused on build up to the games and then obviously just a quick summary prior to the game, not to be redundant with all the other content creators out there, but certainly hope you enjoy the content. I'm in, as always, like, subscribe. But it is week one of the preseason. I think it's always important to keep proper expectations when it comes to the preseason. The reality here is wins and losses do not matter. You're going to get a lot of non-starters, especially this team that has some expensive veterans that are not going to see the field throughout the entirety of the preseason. So, what are you looking forward to? What is drawing you to the game outside of it's just distraction from life, right? The entertainment aspect of football. But I want to hear from you. I certainly have my thoughts on what I'll focus on while getting through the game this evening. So let's talk about it. Definitely want to hear from you. Be back in a sec. All right, let's get to it. I'm sorry, I haven't played that intro in a while. So if you're tuning in, leave the comments. I want to know what you want to get from this evening's game, what you're most looking forward to. Again, my thought process is it's so little about the wins and losses. And for me, the most important thing, and I'm sure we're going to hear about it throughout the broadcast this evening, is a distraction away from the Brandon Aiyuk drama. Obviously, a lot has come to light regarding Brandon Aiyuk. We'll talk about that at great length until this thing gets wrapped up. So I really don't want to spend any time talking about that per se. I want to focus a little bit more on where our attention is going to be throughout the game. I think the first thing I'm looking forward to, and I don't expect the 49ers to unveil a lot, but I want to see what kickoff return looks like and what kickoff looks like for our team. Again, I think this is going to be very gimmick oriented. I think you'll see elements of a play caller's offense wrinkled into the return game, given the new rules from the NFL. And I'm just eager to see what that kind of looks like and have we practiced it. Do we feel prepared as we get closer to week one on Monday night against the New York Jets? But outside of that, I'm just looking at very specific players and very specific positions. I want to start on the defensive side of the ball. I feel really comfortable with the D line, the depth of the D line. I think some of the names that they brought in from the outside this season. I don't want to call them household names, but people that we've seen tape on, we've seen play, right? They have experience in the league. So I'm not sure if they're going to get a lot of burn. So what does the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth defensive lineman look like in this particular game? If we go back a tier, I'm really excited to see what these Packers are going to bring, specifically D. Winters and Jalen Grant. Been a lot of hype around D. Winters so far this offseason. He's gotten an opportunity to get on the field quite a bit, given the injury to Dre Greenlaw. Obviously, they got DFF that's probably going to be taking a lot of snaps. But I think D. Winters has an opportunity to earn himself a starting job, amongst the three starting linebackers once the season rolls around. And tonight or today, depending on where you're watching this game, is going to be his first opportunity to showcase some of his skills. We didn't get to see, a whole lot of him last year. So really looking forward to seeing that. I think you're going to see Jalen Graham get a lot of burn throughout this game. How they look? Are they moving well sideline to sideline? Are they Are they meeting the ball carrier at the line of scrimmage? What does it look like for them covering second and third tier wide receivers in the National Football League, especially some of the competition that they go up against in practice on a daily basis? How is that transferring to actual football games from the practice field? So really excited about that specific position. Again, you're tuned into Island 49. I'm Weston Smith. Please don't ever forget to like, subscribe. You're going to hear a lot more from me, see a lot more of this space throughout the 2024 season. But here we just want to collectively talk about what our expectations are for week one of the preseason against the Tennessee Titans. We just talked about the linebackers. Then I want to go back another layer on the defensive side. I want to see what the DBs are going to bring to the table. I mean, I think we are really comfortable with what we have in Diamador Lenore and Charvarius Ward. Really comfortable there. But who's, CB3, 4, 5? Depth is very important at the position. What does the safety position look like? Especially with questions around Talanoa Hufanga and when he might return full speed to the field. I think Jair Brown is clearly slotted in as a starter, but they invested a lot in Malik Mustafa. And again, by all accounts, everybody that we know that's been trained at training camp, guy's been balling, been playing really well. I want to see more. I want to see how that translates into the game. Is this guy more comfortable up at the line of scrimmage? How does he look in coverage? What does ball tracking skills look like? Practice is one thing when it's controlled and organized. When you get to the games, anything can happen. That's what I'm really looking forward to, is what they look like in those moments when instinct needs to take over. I'm really encouraged by what I've seen from highlights, et cetera, and reports out of camp. I'm going to be redundant today, but how does that translate onto the field? This is it. I mean, the preseason is for those one or two rookies that might craft your starting lineup, depending upon your team. Some free agent positions that might just been head count. Do they surprise you, and are they fighting for positions to be on the 53? And all of that starts today. You slide outside to the corners. I've been very adamant and pound on table. I'm really high on Renardo Green. I just think he's got that 49er swag. He's kind of with that dog mentality in him. He's physical, right? He's physical. He's got moxie. He doesn't shy away from getting up in your face at the line of scrimmage. I know he's going to stick his nose in there to tackle. Watch a lot of his college ball. So really excited. I think he's going to have every opportunity. I think he's going to give the 49ers the option to say, where do you want to slot Diamador Lenore in the slot, or is he going to be better suited outside? Because I think Renardo is one of those guys too that has that hybrid ability, that can play inside, can play outside. But I think as a younger guy, you're probably going to be more comfortable with him outside, less responsibility, and just chasing wide receivers all over the field. We'll see. We'll see where what the 49ers are thinking in terms of where they line them up. Another guy that was a rookie last year we didn't get to see a lot of, Luter Jr. I want to see what he looks like. Some of those free agent signings as well. Rocky Sin, Idiom. I want to see what these guys look like. They're going to get every opportunity because I don't expect that we're going to see much of Diamador Lenore or Charvarius Ward, especially his core injury from the offseason. I don't think you're going to see a lot of those guys this offseason. Be prudent to keep them off the field as much as possible, keep them fresh, keep them healthy. I mean, we're all tuned in to 49 reports daily, and we're seeing the injuries pile up. And that's my biggest concern in these preseason games, the games that don't matter from a wins and loss perspective, or achieving a playoff slot, or in your quest to the Super Bowl. You want to be really careful and cautious with these guys. So that's my thought on the defensive side. Really comfortable with what our D-line is going to look like at the start of this season. Love to see if there's a surprise there. Again, somebody who might fight to be on that 53, but I'm specifically looking at the linebackers, D. Winters, Jalen Graham, thinking about the safety position, Malik Mustafa, and then from a defensive back, I'm really focused in on Renardo Green and Darrell Luter Jr. That's defensively. Offensively, I know we have a lot of distractions so far, and candidly, quite a few injuries, right? So from the receiver position, don't expect to see Ricky Pearsall, your first-round draft pick, tonight. Obviously, we're not going to see Brandon Aiyuk. Probably not going to see any of Deebo Samuel. So what does that mean for guys like Ronnie Bell, I want to see Jacob Howling. I want to see what these guys are going to bring to the table. We just, Danny Gray, like just guys that we haven't had the chance to see a lot of yet. That's what I'm looking forward to. Who I want to see. Again, just understanding the controversy that is currently taking place and the uncertainty around the wide receiver position as we get closer to the start of the year. And then some surprise news yesterday in terms of I was really hopeful that Logan Thomas was going to make this roster. We know what he brings as a receiving second tight end, um, or what potential he could have brought for the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, Kittle's the guy. But Logan Thomas just didn't get a lot of reps in practice, and he's gone for all intents and purposes, right? He's cut from the roster. So is it Braden Willis time? Is it Mason Klein time? Is Cam Latu going to get on some of these reps? I'm sure the answer is yeah, right? We're going to see probably all three of those individuals this evening, but I want to see more specifically, I want to see if there's been growth from Braden Willis. We saw him um, down the back half of the season, and certainly in the home stretch, saw him in the Super Bowl, right? So he's played meaningful minutes for this team before. How does that carry itself through the offseason into the start of this particular season? Mason Klein, a lot of people, undrafted rookie, right? A lot of people really, really high on this guy, ton of athletic ability. Does he give the 49ers the ability to say that, hey, our tight end two is not just a blocking tight end a la Charlie Warner, right? Or I think if you can find a guy also adds or complements himself as a weapon, because we know they love to play a lot of two tight end formations. It's strength around the run game, but if you have another option for Brock Purdy in the play action pass game, works tremendously well for this offense. So I'm focused on the tight end position. I mentioned I'm really focused. I'm not putting any of my eggs in the basket. I'm really focused in on Mason Klein, Braden Willis. Those are the two guys that I want to see the most of. Then the running back position. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey's nicked up. I heard him say yesterday if it was a real game tomorrow, he'd be playing. He's going to take rest, but that's your all-world running back who does have injury history. I expect him to be fully shut down for the remainder of the preseason. Let him get healthy. Let him just stay in shape. Who doesn't need any game reps? So running backs become more important. Elijah Mitchell banged up, right? Isaac Guerrero banged up with the hamstring. So what does that depth look like? Right now, you got JP Mason, who we're all high on. We all expect to probably, I would say, unseat Elijah Mitchell if he as the number two running back on this team. And then you got the undrafted rook, who had a tremendous collegiate career, Cody Schrader. So I'm curious to see what it looks like when he's getting 12, 13, 14 touches in the game, and is there productivity that comes from it? Because 49ers, the strength of their offense is always their run game. So how is that going to translate when we don't see the number one guys? Is that a foreshadowing if, God forbid, one of these guys gets nicked up in the middle of the season? Do you have somebody who can plug in that has been very characteristic of the Kyle Shanahan offenses, no matter where he's been in this league? He seems to put these no-name, undrafted guys on the map. Let's just make sure that we still have those folks that have that ability, and we'll get a great glimpse at Cody Schrader. If I know anything about this man, I know he'll be prepared for his opportunity. So I'm hoping for pleasant things. Again, just a quick reminder, you're listening to Island 49. I'm your host, Weston Smith. Please make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow along. A lot of content remains to be coming from this channel throughout the 2024 season. You'll always see me paired with Steph on Mondays on the 49K podcast. Done a little work with Ryan Hensley, Peter Lucas, and some other folks out there. Been with Jesse and Jason Ponte in the past. So really, again, looking forward to this season and bringing you more content. Again, you guys, this is your time. If you have questions and there's something you want to talk about or something that you're looking forward to, I'm just spewing here, getting some of the anxiety out as we head up to game time here. I think the final thing that I want to discuss is I'm not necessarily locked in on who's going to be QB2 yet. I really honestly don't even think they'll make that decision to I don't think anybody's going to play themselves into that position this evening. So I'm not focusing on the quarterback position. Obviously, you know who QB1 is. I think where my focus is going to be is on the offensive line, regardless of who's at quarterback. They have a little bit of time. What is run blocking? Obviously, we have some issues with Trent Williams that need to get ironed out ASAP. If I'm being candid, I think it's going to go to the wire because another guy doesn't need training camp. Not his thing. He's surefire, first ballot, Hall of Famer. You know, he's not no spring chicken anymore. So I think you're gonna let him take his time. I think they'll ultimately get that done. So I'm not concerned. But what does the maturation of Colton McKivitz look like on the right side? I think he'll have plenty of time in the preseason. Most importantly, what's the right guard position going to look like? What's the center position going to look like? Is one of these undrafted centers, an offensive lineman, going to come in and unseat Jake Brendel? I'm okay with that. I mean, I think Jake's done well for us, but if there's somebody that's outplaying him, get him in. This is how you win drafts. You find guys that you can plug in that you're not paying a lot of money that you feel more confident in than your veteran starters that have been there. And then all eyes are going to be focused on Dominic Pugh. For all intents and purposes, it feels like the right guard position is his, and he needs to be unseated after a couple injuries, and he got his time in there. Chris Forster has been highly complimentary of the player. I like the sound of that, especially from a rookie. Again, another one, third round pick. You know, did you find a diamond in the rough here? Because if you did, great. I talked all offseason about the 49ers in this draft. Now that they finally had a first round pick, second round pick, you know, after the Trey Lance, saga is now a wash. They needed to find 2 or 3 guys that could contribute right away. And if Puny cracks the starting lineup, I do believe Ricky Pearsall, if he gets healthy, he's going to be in the lineup and contribute quite a bit. And then you get somebody on the back end like a Renardo Green or a Malik Mustafa who play themselves in the lineup. The 49ers did well, which has not always been the case when it comes to their draft, right? So I'm just really excited to see what Dominic Puny looks like. And I want to be this is week 1 of the preseason, his first NFL game, his first NFL start, if he is even starting. I haven't checked who's going to be starting at this point, but if he's going to be starting, let's keep expectations. You know, just because it doesn't look great, it doesn't mean it's no longer his spot to lose, right? If he continues to do well in practice, like practice is preparation for the games, right? So if he continues to get those reps and he gets some meaningful game experience under his belt here in the preseason, I'm kind of expecting to run away with it. And then that gives him even, another option or two in terms of what center is going to look like. You know, barring obviously Trent coming back, Aaron Banks, you feel good about left guard. You know, Colton McKivitz is going to be the right tackle. What does center, right guard look like? That's what we're going to find out throughout the entire preseason here. And then importantly, is Jalen more mature? Is he ready to be a swing tackle in this league? Right? Have you drafted any of these undrafted guys? Are they ready just to ball? Just remember, like, sure, my guy Brad Graham would be proud to hear this. The offensive line is the position that I very seldom pair or put value on where that individual was drafted or how they were found. It is a rugged position. It's the trenches, right? You're getting beat up all game, and the defensive linemen have every advantage, other than they don't exactly know where the play is going, but they have every advantage. So you need those guys, the chip on their shoulder type guys who've been overlooked their entire path to get here in the first place, but yet here they are. Somebody's going to surprise. Somebody outside of Puny is going to surprise, and I think that bodes well for the San Francisco 49ers. So that's it. I'm not no predictions. Again, I don't care what the score is. I'm just came to you. I just wanted to get a few things off my chest, talk a little bit about what I'm most looking forward to this evening. And for me, it's certain positions and certain players, the positions where there might just be a little uncertainty due to injuries or contract scenarios, whatever it might be, and just players that draft capital was invested. And I want to see what they look like. We know what we have with that. We know this is a really good roster. But what was really cool, I would say in 2023, it was a really, really good roster. In 2022, it was a really, really good roster. I think what was missing from those 2 rosters from that, like, 2019 run was the depth, right? It felt like no matter what happened in 2019, there was somebody outside the wide receiver position. There was somebody who could just come in, step right in, and ball. Let's find out. That's what the offseason's all about. Beyond, the 9 players that were ranked in the top 100, the multitude of all pros up and down this roster, who's the backfill? Because the backfill is gonna actually represent what the future of this organization, might look like, especially when you go 3 years without first-round draft picks, 2 years without second-round draft picks. Oh, by the way, one of those years where you did have a second-round draft pick, Drake Jackson just put him on IR. So no impact last year, no impact this year. What is this all gonna look like? Who's gonna take advantage of their opportunity and their opportunity, on national television in front of the world begins this evening, week 1, August 10th, San Francisco 49ers down in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. I'm sure there's gonna be a plethora of faithful. They travel as well as anybody. I hope they all enjoy Nashville. It is a super dope, awesome city, especially this time of year. Um, Time right about right, then you can get out onto the strip and hit Tootsies and all those hot spots. So I hope everybody down there has. Hope, audience, you all have a blast watching the game, and most importantly, football's here. So we'll be back. I'm not going to recap the game. Steph and I will get on next week. We'll probably talk more about the Brandon Aiyuk situation as it continues to linger over us like a dark cloud. And then I'll start to talk a little bit about, like, hey, what I was looking for. What did I see? Good, bad, indifferent, etc. In the meantime, again, this is Island 59. I'm Weston Smith. Appreciate you chiming in. As always, hit the like, subscribe for those notifications so you know when I'm going live. I just never know when it's going to happen. But until then, enjoy the game, everyone. We'll catch you soon.